Tim with Death by Metal MMB, and I'm talking to...
This is Scott from Cloak.
Awesome, definitely. Well, tell us about the new album that just came out. Tell us about the process of making it and how long it did, and is it a joint collective or is it something that you guys do individually?
So it's not out yet. It's October 25th.
Right, it's close.
Which is,
yeah,
it's close. About a month away now.
Yeah.
It's called The Burning Dawn. We spent all of 2017 and 2018 writing it. We went into the studio late February, start drum tracking, and then we did guitars and vocals throughout March and April. And it was a fairly concise process compared to the first album, which was a lot more spread out studio-wise. Both took about the same time to write, about that 1.5 to 2 year mark. And I don't know, I mean, somewhere along the way we just became more comfortable with each other with the process of songwriting. We just became better songwriters. I think The Burning Dawn is a much more powerful record. It's more, it takes everything that Cloak does, the best parts that we do, and puts emphasis on that. So it's extremely epic, but it's also extremely poignant, and it can also be violent at times or somber at times. It's got a mix of everything, but it uses it all in a very powerful and, I guess, productive way. It's slimmed away kind of all the bullshit. It just kind of hammers it out right there, and you'll kind of have to hear what I'm talking about when you listen to it. But
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
we get
more. Yeah.
We get pre-release stuff, and we get to listen to things ahead of time to do reviews and whatever. But I think my personal opinion, it's really good, really good, and I can't wait for everyone to hear it. But who comes up with the album artwork? Is it something that you guys do in-house, or do you send it out?
Yeah, no, we come up with it in-house. It was an idea, I guess, collaboration between me and the drummer Sean. We discussed ideas, and then he is a pretty good artist himself, so he sketched it out, and then we sent that over to Adam, and he did the painting. So it's a combination of just coming up with visual ideas and then looking at lyrics and seeing. There's a lot of, I guess, subliminal things on both record covers actually that just have to do with there's just symbolism in there, and things you have to look for, and things involved with the songs and the lyrics. So that stuff is important. But yeah, it was kind of a joint decision, I guess, between me and him on that one.
Awesome, definitely. You've got a tour coming up with 1349, and who
Yep.
else is on that?
Uada from Portland.
Awesome. And then where's that starting and where's that ending?
It's actually starting in Jacksonville, Florida, and ending in our hometown of Atlanta, so it's pretty much perfect routing for us.
And do you have anything else planned for the rest of the year, or
No,
2020 you could talk about, or no?
Not any we can talk about in the coming of 2020, but this is the last touring of this year, and it basically ends right before the American holidays, so it's not too much on after that, and then starting with a new year, we'll be getting going again on touring.
Definitely. What inspired you to do or to create music and to be in a band growing up?
Man, that's a long journey, but I always just thought rock and roll was cool. I grew up in the 90s, so it was everywhere. Weird stuff was kind of popular in the 90s, so it was everywhere on MTV and the radio. But I remember the first time I ever had an experience on the stage holding a guitar. We were in first grade, and we did some play, and it was like almost like a schoolhouse rock play. It was sort of like a sort of emulated Grease a little bit, and we were like greasers on a stage, and I wanted to play the part of, there was like these three kids that would hold a guitar and like rock out on the stage. And I remember I absolutely wanted to do that. So I think my parents probably have like footage of it somewhere, but I'm like playing a fake ukulele-sized guitar on a stage with like greaser clothes on. So that, I don't know why I remember that specifically, but that I remember I was just infatuated with that like stage presence of rock and roll. So I picked up the guitar in 5th grade. I was 10, and then from then on, it just was addictive. We started our first band when I was 13. So I've been playing in bands for over half my life at this point, and it's just, I don't know, it's just something that went hand in hand with, we were heavily into skateboarding, and it just, punk and hardcore and metal went hand in hand with skateboarding, so that pushed me to that extreme side of things. I guess the first rock or metal band I ever heard was Metallica from my older brother.
Right.
And it just kind of snowballed from there. I mean, I played in punk bands growing up. I was in so many bands, but I always had like a main band. I probably have had like 4 main bands where I was the main songwriter, and it was something that I really focused on. But I had just so many side bands and things growing up, but now it's just Cloak, and it's sort of like I guess a culmination of my life's work all in one. So it all added up to this point. So I consider Cloak my life's work, even though it wasn't with me in those early years. The spirit kind of, everything added up to the spirit within me that comes out through Cloak, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
What was it like to become, to be in, well, everyone I think started out as a local band, but to finally get, signed to a real record label and to kind of do these big tours, how much different is it than doing a DIY tour as a local band? How much is it easier? Is it a lot of benefits?
It's not easy, but it's easier in a way, because you're working on a professionally, quote unquote, sometimes it's not as professional, but professionally promoted tours and booked tours and booked shows. So I mean, I grew up, as I said, playing in punk bands, and we had to book all of our own shows, all of our own tours through fucking MySpace or Facebook or whatever was around, and you had to make connections that way, or through the phone and word of mouth. So I know how to book and I know how to promote. I did it in my hometown for a while as well. So having that knowledge and then making sure it goes right on the scale that we're doing at now, I think is beneficial to the whole band, just to make sure that we can sort of not oversee things, but just make sure we're making the right decisions and who we trust to do this stuff for us. But yeah, the people we work with have been great so far, and it has been somewhat of a sigh of relief doing things where we don't have to do everything. But Cloak is still a very DIY band.
Right.
We make a lot of our stuff. We make a lot of the banners on stage. We have a hand in our artwork. I do the shirt designs, like the graphic design for the shirts and the covers and booklets and all that stuff. And like I said, like Sean's an artist. He'll mock up things, and we do all of our own music videos. So we're still a very DIY band, but yeah, it's definitely better having people work out some of the kinks for you, for sure.
Do you, as far as longevity, and I always ask this question to pretty much every band, and they always give me a different response, but do you think, because metal, some of these bands have lasted 30 or 40 years, like Metallica and Slayer, and they're starting to die out. Article just came out that said that, Tom Araya has been wanting to quit for a long-ass time. And I think he's just doing it because he has to do it, or they're forcing him to do it. And I think he's done.
He's over it.
Yeah, he's done. He's been done for a long time. Do you think that there's going to be a band nowadays that's going to last the same amount
I
of
think
time?
about that all the time. I think about that all the time because our heroes are starting to die out. Like, I just saw Iron Maiden a couple weeks ago, but it's like, how much longer can they go? They're still the most energetic band on stage, but they're all getting up there, and Slayer's breaking up, Metallica's getting older. I think these bands probably have no more than 15 years left in them, so it's like, who will come up after them? I guess Slipknot might take some of their place, or like maybe for the more I guess underground stuff, maybe Behemoth will be the new like death metal titans. But still, it's weird. There's not going to be I don't know if there's going to be another Priest or another Slayer on that level where they can get to playing arenas. Like the only bands within, I guess, hard rock that are really doing it are maybe Mastodon or maybe Ghost or something, and those bands are hardly the level of extremity that, say, a band like Slayer was, or a band even like Metallica. It's kind of sad, honestly. I mean, we take that approach of what those bands do and what they did and put it to our own music, no matter what size stage that we're playing. But it's important to have that showmanship and big arena size, like level size shows, or the energy from the shows on whatever stage that you're playing on. I think that's important to do because a big show is important, and it doesn't matter, like I said, what size stage you have or what you have to work with. It's I guess the spirit and the energy behind it. But it's weird. It's really weird. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen after those bands die out. It's kind of sad to think about.
I feel that Slipknot is almost even, I hate to say this, but almost even bigger than Metallica. Like they're taking that realm.
They might. I just saw that Metallica has been declared or whatever the biggest metal band in the world. Like they've sold the most tickets.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're bigger than Metallica by any means, but I know what you mean. Like,
yeah, they're starting to take that helm. They're starting to take that role, and obviously they're younger than them, but. To me, my personal opinion is I don't know where it's going to go because the industry has not given another band that has that bigness since the birth of like Lamb of God and Slipknot and Behemoth came out. There's really been nothing else other than really, really good bands, but they just don't have that drive. They just don't have that pull.
No, and they don't have the backing behind them.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they don't have that.
Yeah, there's no financial backing at all anymore in rock and roll, unless you're like a producer-made band, like some of these young kids doing rock bands out there. But it's weird, man. It's a different time, and maybe bands will grow that big, but it'll just be in a different way. You never know. I do still think, as far as rock and roll goes, metal is still fairly big. It's way bigger than punk or hardcore will ever get, and metal has extremely diehard fans, and I think that's what keeps it going.
Yeah.
Because those fans are either underground fans or they're like Slipknot style fans. It's like, I use that band as an example. Like, it doesn't matter if you like them or not. It's like they're an example band because they're huge, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it's just weird. I don't know. It's different, but I think we're fortunate somewhat to be in a genre where the fans are absolute diehards, and they're not fans that are like radio listening. They like just one song type of people. Metal fans are album people. They like full albums. They like to buy your shirt. They like to buy CDs and records and all. And they're interested in the world and the concept that these bands create. They get into it, so it's a good thing for sure.
Absolutely, definitely. And as far as like in the other aspect, and I always ask the bands the same thing. As far as like the music nowadays, because everything's going to digital. I mean, you just brought up, hey, you wanted live CDs and albums and so forth, but the album stores are going away. CDs are damn near almost impossible to get nowadays unless you order them online. Do you think it's ever going to come to a point where that's just going to be obsolete? Where
I probably won't be alive if it does. I think CDs and records will still be here throughout my lifetime. But streaming is the new way. That's just how it is. I stream, even though I buy records and CDs and tape. I still stream. So it's convenient. It's everything's on your fucking phone now. So that's just the way it is. And it's artists don't get shit from it. You don't really make shit from people streaming. So it's unfortunate in that aspect, but as far as getting your music out there, it can be very good. We put out a video 10 days ago. It has 15,000 views already. We put one out a month ago. It's got 20-some thousand views. So it's, things like that. It's cool to see that. It's very good exposure for bands who might not have had it in the first place. Word of mouth is extremely important in our genre, so so that definitely helps. But it's a different world for sure. I mean, I've always been a collector, so I always bought CDs as a kid, and then it moved on to vinyl and even cassettes and all that. So
where can everyone find your band's stuff? Where can what outlets do you sell it at?
So we have a Bandcamp merch section on there. It's just cloakatlanta.bandcamp.com. Season of Mist sells their stuff on their web store. We're pretty heavily distributed through record shops. Season of Mist does a good job distributing our stuff. So they can find us in shops in physical form for sure. But they can order them on all the major ordering websites as well. I mean, even like Discogs.com for secondhand and all that stuff. So they're all over. So it helps. And then we're on Spotify and whatever streaming, Apple, whatever.
And the last two questions I've got is, what was your very first ever metal concert, and what was your very first metal album you ever bought with your own money?
Slayer, Rain and Blood, or Metallica, Kill 'Em All, maybe. I'll go ahead and say Slayer, Rain and Blood, because I think my brother gifted me Kill 'Em All. And then first metal concert. Trying to think. And my first actual concert, I was 13. I went to see a band called AFI, but that's not a metal band. It might have been Iron Maiden, maybe. For a big band, but yeah, I don't know. I'll go ahead and just say Iron Maiden.
There you go. Yeah, it's kind of weird to see. I saw Iron Maiden with Twish's sister, and I was young, and I remember telling my uncle that I said, "What are those girls or what are these women on stage singing?" And he's like, "Those aren't girls." And Twish's sister was all dressed up, and I'm just like, "What the hell is this?" I was very, very young.
Yeah,
but,
I know a bunch of metal shows before them, honestly, but I just can't think of it. I mean, it was probably some package that was at like the Masquerade here in Atlanta with, I don't know, like Cannibal Corpse or something like that.
I miss
it's really hard to say.
I miss going to shows and I guess meeting the band, but it wasn't like it is nowadays because everyone's got to get a picture, which is okay, but. It's not the I remember staying out back a place called Mississippi Nights here in St. Louis, Missouri, which was very, very world renowned, big. Everybody knew it, and I remember staying outside and back and just bullshitting. And Jeff Hanneman's right next to me, drinking a fucking beer and talking to some girl.
Wow.
And I remember I was like, "Hey, fucking awesome show, dude!" And he fucking turned around and goes, "Hey, thanks," And I didn't ask him for an autograph or nothing. I didn't even at the time.
No.
I was just fucking bullshitting with him, It's like not a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
But nowadays
that's cool.
and that's okay to get a picture and everything. That's fine. But nowadays it's not like it was back then. It was more kind of like, hey, just fucking hang out. You're gonna play some kick-ass music and chill out.
Yeah, not everyone had a camera in their pocket back then either.
No, it's okay, and that's to me when people film at a show, to me it's good because it's free publicity because they're going to share it somewhere. they're going to share it on some kind of format. And I think it's really good. I think it helps out the band grow. And people are like, well, you need to put it down and not film. Well, they're helping you out. They're not just, they're not going to save it on their phone and be like, I'll never show it to anybody, kind of a thing. And when musicians say, hey, don't show your, don't do that, sometimes I'm thinking, well, like Danzig, he throws a damn fit every time someone pulls a phone, and I'm just like, well, these are your fans. I mean, just let it go and let it happen and be okay with it, So, but other than that, hopefully we'll be able to one day see you guys here in St. Louis, Missouri. Other than that, you guys are going to be going to Kansas City here soon, and we'll probably get maybe somebody out there to cover the show. But best of luck to going on tour. And the album sounds phenomenal. Wait till it comes out. It's going to just blow everyone's minds away. I really like it a lot. And we'll just go from there. But have a great tour, and wish you nothing but best of luck. And thank you for calling.
Cool. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care. All right. Bye.
See you.